Traded it all.
Welcome to the show, everyone. I am so excited today to have my lead sponsor, who is Chad Gamage. We just had his special commercial that came on before the show started. Chad is the CEO of Arizona Retirement Company. Welcome back to the show. You've been on several times, and now you've become my lead sponsor. Thank you so much for that. Tell us a little bit about yourself. You know, I know people have heard you before. You've helped some people that have been listening, but a little bit about yourself and, you know, kind of what you do. I was just at your office recently, which I loved going there and really learning a little bit more about you. Go ahead.
Yeah, well, thank you, Carol. It's a pleasure to be here and real proud to be a sponsor of your program. Your program is really important to Phoenix, to small businesses like mine. We get to come on the air, and it's affordable, and get to get behind the mic and say some things to people that might not otherwise know we exist. So it's a real pleasure to be here with you.
Thank you. Well, let's talk a little bit about you. You've got some new things coming up. I was just at your office, I think it was about a month ago or so. Mm-hmm. I would love, it's a beautiful office. Please talk a little bit about yourself so I can kind of talk a little bit more about that.
Sure, thank you. So Arizona Retirement Company is a retirement consulting and planning firm. We're located in Gilbert, Arizona, and we're quite different than your typical financial advisor or bank, if you will, that people would generally go to for financial advice, whereas they typically will sell you their favorite product or fund of the month. We do things quite a bit differently, and that's because when I started Arizona Retirement Company, I didn't take the same channels into this industry. I didn't walk into the front door of a bank or one of those Wall Street famous companies and hand over my resume and say, I want to sell this or do this. I experienced finance a little differently. I was much like everybody else. I was wiped out in following the Great Recession of 2007 to 2009, and I said, this doesn't feel right, and I was told, relax, it'll come back, you're in it for the long run, and I thought, that just doesn't sit right with me. What if I was about to retire? What if I was in retirement? How would you explain that? And they would tell you it's just part of the territory, and it didn't sit well with me. So I decided that I was going to find something different for me. I wanted to find something that would guarantee what my retirement, what I want it to be like, and that requires, income. Social Security is not enough. I didn't have a pension, but I can create my own pension now. And so I did some things that are quite different than everybody else, and it worked out so great. I made a career change and started Arizona Retirement Company so that I can bring my strategy, the modern retirement design, to just about everybody.
It is awesome what you did. We've talked about your story right there in the office, and I was so impressed by it because what you did, a lot of people would never do. They would
right.
say, okay, well, this isn't happening, and they'd go down the tubes, let's say. But you turned your life around and you figured it out. And what you do when you come here, I love what you do because you're educating everybody about how you did it and how it's worked for you. And it obviously has. Not only have you helped yourself, but you have helped many others as well. How long have you been doing this now?
Well, Arizona Retirement Company started in 2014, so fairly new, but it took a few years to get to this point because when I dove into learning personal finance, I was really no different than anybody else. This was all financial entertainment, financial fantasy, and what I found at the end of all this was it was just financial gray matter. It was very confusing and very difficult to comprehend. So, my shoes were the same as everybody else's shoes at the beginning, but I just had to learn it. I had to sort through things, and thankfully we have the internet, and you can gather all the information you want. You can take years to sort through it, like I did, to eliminate all the duplicate information, the things that just didn't matter to us, and get down to actually what does matter to us. And that's where we put our money for retirement. That's the key. Where do you put your money for retirement?
And you've created some strategies that no one else has. That's another thing about this. This is like no one else has these things. I know your office is growing too, and that's congratulations and kudos to you on that.
Thank you.
You have a new consultant working with you. You want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, I brought in a gentleman by the name of Daryl Kesey a couple weeks ago. He has about 20 years experience in this industry, and he's been around a while and he's seen a lot, and I think he's like a lot of people in this industry that just kind of feel like they're getting burned out because it's the same kind of a thing wherever you go in this industry. And I told him what I did, and it just kind of put a spark in his eye, and he just wants to get back into this because what I do is something he'd been looking for a long time, so he's a real good fit for what we do as a consultant.
So let's talk about some of these new strategies that you've created. You have some older ones that you've talked about before, the current ones, but you have some new ones, so go ahead.
Sure. So we started our second or third strategy was Pro Pension Plus at the beginning of May, and that's a strategy that we designed for everybody who doesn't have a pension but's always wanted one.
Thank you.
Sure.
There's a lot of us out there that don't have them anymore.
Sure. Yeah, you don't have to go work for the city. You can create a personal pension, and that's what we do with Pro Pension Plus. So you could be self-employed and a realtor, for example, and say, hey, I want to make sure I have a pension like my parents did. Boom, we can do that. You could be nearing retirement or in retirement even and want to convert some assets to a pension. That's what we do. So it's just meant to cover that missing portion for retirement planning that so many of us have.
And there was another one that you want to talk about too?
Yeah, sure. So our Fed Pro Plus will come out on May 23rd. That's when we're holding our first webinar, and that Fed Pro Plus program is for federal employees. I had a federal employee come in a few months ago, and I learned quite a bit from him. It's a different program that they have. They have their own language, and they have a different understanding of how things work. Now, granted, they have the best benefits in the world. We're never going to find better benefits than what you're going to get as a federal employee, and good for them. They don't have to worry about that part of their retirement plan.
That's a different breed.
It is, and but they have a TSP, which is their version of 401k, and there's some really important things you have to know about that, or you'll end up like this gentleman who came to me because he had made some withdrawals, and that affected his access to future TSP funds. He'll always get that money, but because he did a couple things he shouldn't have done, he's basically going to get it out over time versus lump sum. And so there's some really important things that we need to know as a federal employee, and so we've created a program to help them maintain what they have in the federal program, but to also introduce them to what the private sector can do to protect their retirement and to gain access to that TSP money.
Now, you do free consultations. Obviously, people have to get to know you. The listeners also, too, if you already have somebody that you're working with, you're listening to this is brand new. He is the only one that has any of this. That's what makes him so different. And he's offering for everyone to get a comprehensive, it's an analysis, it's a blueprint retirement plan analysis on what you need to know. But what I want to do is open up the audience for people to get that too. Our number here is 602-277-5369. Toll free, it's 1-866-536-1100. You could check him out on his website. It's AZ Retirement Coast, that's CO, so azretirementco.com. You can also call them direct. They do these free consultations. Their phone number is 480-524-0508. Let's talk real quickly before we go to a break about this blueprint, because now it's including everything.
Yeah, sure. You got to know where you're starting from, and this goes back to the thing I learned first about myself. Again, after getting wiped out, I knew that I had to start from somewhere, and I needed to know where I was at before I took any other steps, before I made any other decisions. So the comprehensive retirement analysis, which creates that blueprint, is going to show you where you are, where you're headed, and if you're on track to reach your goals. And those are the three things you have to know before you make any decisions. Why would you buy someone's product of the month, or favorite product, or transfer to someone's fund of the month if you don't know if you're making a lateral decision or improving your situation? So it's critical information. It's a real eye-opener is what it is, because most people have no idea what track that they're on for their retirement.
You showed me a little tiny bit of what you do, and it's just it's amazing what you're going to find out from him. We're going to be going to a break. When we come back, I want to talk further about your different programs. Again, he is the only one that has any of these. I love it. I love being able to have your own pension plan. It's about time, especially if you're own your own business. This is something you can take care for your
Everybody
own self.
should have one.
Everyone should. Give us a call here. Get entered in to win this at 602-277-5369. Check him out. It's ArizonaRetirementCO.com.
Traded it all.
Welcome back. We're talking with Chad Gamage. He is the CEO of Arizona Retirement Company. we've been talking a little bit about some of the different new programs that you've brought into your company. I'm so excited about it because it sounds like, yay, I can actually have my own pension plan. Someone like me that would thought I would never be able to do it. Let's talk quickly a little bit about it for anyone that didn't hear. These are things that you're listening that they are the only ones that have, and that's what makes them different. And there are 4 programs that you have that are the only ones that you are the only ones that have it. So we want to keep our lines open here. You can call throughout the rest of the show for this. You're getting a free comprehensive analysis. It's a blueprint for your current retirement plan, and it's all about you guys. This is something I think everyone should have. And even if you have someone, you do second opinions, they're free consultations. You can find out a little bit about what he can do for you. Our number here, call in at 602-277-5369. Toll free, it's 1-866-536-1100. They are having a webinar on May 23rd. It's filled up, so you're going to have to call in them, and they'll do a free consultation for you as well as get you in on the next one. You have to call them direct. That phone number is 480-524-0508. You can check them out. It's Arizona. It's AZ retirementco.com. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, well, all of our strategies are proprietary. They're not just ours. They're not just new. You're just not going to find them anywhere else. It's going to be the same answers wherever you go. If you go somewhere else, they keep doing the same things. They keep repeating the same things. They use different names for what they do. But the reality is the results just aren't going to change for you. If you're going to keep repeating the same mistakes over and over again, don't expect to survive the next recession. Expect the same kind of things to happen from 2007 to 2009. And that was the reason behind this for me. I wasn't going to let this happen to me. I'm just not going to work my tail off just to give it all up the day before I retire or the day after. So these strategies, they were built for me. They suit my needs. And if they work for me, they should work for other people, and they do. That's why our practice is growing, because people want something different. They want something they can understand, and it relates to them. So that's what we do. We back it up. Our stuff is guaranteed. We're a safe place to do business. So we protect you, and just like we protect ourselves. So that's where it all starts from, Carol. We just don't want to repeat the same mistakes over and over again. We don't want to pretend to be like somebody else. We're definitely unique, and I think that people are catching on to what we do. That's why our phone rings. But it could help to your show, by the way. We do get some people from your show that call us and they want to come down and meet and say, hey, this does sound different. Why is it different? How is it different? Well, I guarantee you from the minute you walk in the door, it's a different experience. And,
it is.
And you saw that when you came to our office. And so, these strategies that we create, sometimes they're specialized. For example, our Fed program, like you said, the webinar's filled up. Well, we're going to have another one. Just give us a call at 480-524-0508. We'll get you on that next webinar so that you don't miss out. You don't have to wait for a webinar. You can say, hey, I want to come down there and experience your process. I want to see if you can help me out. We'll run a report for your federal program and give you some information about that before you make any decisions. So it's one of those things. But that's specific, that's specialized, federal employees. But the Pro Pension Plus is for everybody. I mean, think about it. You don't have a pension, but your parents may have. Your grandparents did. They approached retirement differently. They had Social Security, pension income, and they saved money differently. Well, we don't generally have pensions anymore, but we can fix that. We don't save money like we used to. Well, we can probably fix that with some budgeting changes, but the reality is we can have a better retirement. We can face retirement with anticipation instead of apprehension, and I urge you to call us if that's what you're doing. If you're facing retirement with apprehension, then give us a call. Let's change that. Let's go ahead and help you understand your retirement differently. Let's put it on a whole different level, and let's face it with anticipation.
Now, you can call here, get entered in to win. Everybody's going to get the free comprehensive analysis. Our number here is 602-277-5369. Toll free, it's 1-866-536-1100. I'm going to let everyone call throughout the rest of the show for this. I know a lot of people are driving. Sometimes they need to pull over and call in. Also, you could check them out on their website, which is azretirementco.com. You can call them direct. Find out. Let them do a free consultation for you. Find out a little bit about what they do that's completely different than anybody else. That's 480-524-040. I'm sorry, 480-524-0508. I was thinking about how you said that you were so passionate about this, and also how you said that this is guaranteed. You guarantee it because it worked for you, and it should work for everybody else as well. Let's also talk about the other ones, the strategies that you've had before.
Yeah, the modern retirement design is what started it all, and that was because, again, I want to get into face my retirement with knowledge and understanding and security. I want to make sure I have income. Social Security's not going to cut it. I didn't have a pension, but it doesn't mean I have to put it into mutual funds. It doesn't mean I have to put it into IRAs and things that are going to risk that money. That I can't afford the risk. At that point, there was no reason to take risk. Until I had enough income guaranteed, why would I take any risk? And nobody should be taking that risk. So the modern retirement design allowed me to allocate my money into 3 different coffers. The first one was to build up my guaranteed income, and I do that through my personal pensions. So if I took an IRA or 401k or some other managed money or idle cash, I can create pensions with that. So when I am retired, I have Social Security and I have pension income. I could have multiple pension incomes. And my second coffer of the modern retirement design allows me to put money away for the good things in life, for the extras, the things that I want to do in retirement, not just the things I need, but the things that I want. So neither one of those are going to be affected the next time something like 2007 to 2009 happens. I'm not going to lose 2 years of watching my money go away, and then the next 4 years for it to make up the losses. That's 6 years. I'm not going to deal with that. I'm only going to go up. I'm never going to go down again. So my money's always going to be there. And then the third coffer of the modern retirement design is to make sure I have some emergency money put aside. Because if emergencies do rear their ugly heads, and they do, I don't want it to affect my income. I don't have to sell a boat to pay for an emergency, for a roof on a house, whatever it might be. Those things are independent of each other. So I created something that worked for me, and it worked for me so well that I needed to offer it to other people. I talked to people about it. They said, "That's great. How did you do it?" So I made a career change. Arizona Retirement Company. It makes it available through the modern retirement design.
When I listen to you, in my heart, I feel so doable, that everything that you say sounds so doable. You don't have to have a ton of money.
No.
As a matter of fact, you might not have a ton of money, and that you can learn from him how to grow your money. Right?
Yeah, once you see how simple it is, you'll actually feel empowered. You'll feel smart. You'll be like, well, I understand this differently. I have control over this. And ask yourself this as you're driving down the road or you're sitting at your desk, do you have control over it now? Do you have any idea what's going on with your 401k and your IRA? Sure, you might work for a great company, and you might think you have a great 401k. That may not be the case. We audit these things, and we find out more often than not, you're not going to like what you see. It just doesn't work out in your favor most of the time. In fact, last year, I would say every time someone saw what they had in their 401k and over the inception of that 401k, they weren't too pleased with the overall results of that. And I'll bet you most of your listeners would feel the same way if we audited as well.
Well, I know we're getting some calls here, too, for this. Everyone's getting, and it's a comprehensive analysis. It's free to you, and it's a blueprint for your current retirement plan. I mean, and I think we all should be listening to this. I mean, just stop and listen and say, yes, I need to do something, because if you don't do something, you could be very sorry. Even if you're in something with somebody now, you don't do a second opinion. Have somebody take a look at it.
You could be repeating the same mistakes over and over again and have no idea until it's too late. You got really nothing to lose but to see an alternative to what you're already doing.
And it's a free consultation. There's no obligation to it. Obviously, it's nothing to lose. An eye-opener, I know for sure. An eye-opener. Now, we're going to keep our lines open here. Our number here is 602-277-5369. Toll free, it's 1-866-536-1100. So we're going to let everyone keep on calling throughout the rest of the show for this. Again, the May 23rd, the webinar is already sold out, but you can call them direct, get on for the next one, or just find out now from them exactly what they can do for you. And that number, again, it's 480. It's 524-0508. It's azretirementco.com. Real quickly, because I know we only have about a minute and a half now, but I want to talk about the executive bonus contract too.
Yeah, well, first of all, we have something for everybody. The executive bonus contract are for those business owners or for businesses that can afford to give business owners and key employees a pension that's funded through the company. It's tax deductible, so it's a really great program. You got to understand how it works. It's a little more complex. We probably can't cover that in the next minute or two. But if you have a business that's succeeding, well, your owners should succeed and the employees should succeed. This is a select benefit program, so it might just be the owner, it might just be an owner and a manager, but you can do wonderful things when you put your mind to it and you learn what's out there and realize that I can be rewarded for my hard work as a business owner.
Well, what makes them them different is everything that they offer, no one else has. And this is something that they guarantee. Again, tell them for your last final words what you would say to them.
Yeah, if you're like everybody else out there, you're just treading water. You just don't know what's going on around you, and you're just going to follow everybody else down the river.
And you're also going to make the same mistakes, and it isn't going to be any good. There's no obligation. You can get this free consultation from them. It's an eye-opener. I saw some of the things that you'll learn that you're not going to even believe. I've been to the office. It's a beautiful office.
Thank you.
Please check them out. It's azretirementco.com. Call them direct at 480-524-0508 or keep on calling here at 602-277-5369.